Hello and good morning. Oh, it's lovely that I'm not in focus. We have to fix that. Horrible. What's happening? Why it's me. Okay, well, maybe I just have to be not in focus. Hello and good morning, good afternoon and good evening depending on where you are. Uh just before we meet our guest, I just want to tell you about why hands-on coaching is inviting you to inspiring conversations, because every little conversation, if it helps you, if it can give you some nuggets to life and you can take something from these discussions and use it in your own life, then it's just great. And by this I can meet fabulous people and I can have the time of my life, and I hope that you are as well. So, welcome to Hands-on Coaching's stream. Today, let me see if I can do something about this. Well, see how my lovely face came around. My guest today is a locksmith. Is he a locksmith? Rab Bassi, welcome to the show. So,
Thank you for having me.
how are you, my lovely British person?
Cold. Cold.
Cold.
Yeah, I know it's not cold as you, Hedden. I know where you are. We don't want to go there. But for me in the UK, in the Garden of England, in Kent, cold.
Oh, I thought you meant like. First, I started to think this will be a short conversation. He said I was cold, and like when you see this face, then you realize I'm hot. Don't you? So, Mr. Bassi, welcome. I told you this would be a good experience.
I'm
I'm
worried about
joking.
it.
Are
I'm
you
worried.
worried? Why? There's nothing to be worried about.
I'm worried
But
we're going to have too much fun.
yes, of course. But granted, on your Facebook site, in your presentation, you say locksmith. But of course, I have the rest of the fun stuff that you write. You are a locksmith. That means business advisor and leadership advisor who unlocks excellence in people and technology. Executive coach. So just to give people an idea about you, so can you just go through? I know that you're old, like not as young as me. Okay, no, don't do that. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, who are you, and whatever comes to mind.
Okay, absolutely. Give me 2 seconds. You've already broken the title about locksmith. I am
A locksmith.
I'm a solutionist, right?
Oh, yes.
You start right. I'm a solutionist, so I like working with people to get the best out of them, so they can get the best out of themselves. That's my executive coaching side, but I love technology. Now, I got bored with being introduced as I'm a CIO, CTO, whatever, blah blah blah. Right. So I thought I'd change it around and say, well, that's what I do. I unlock people's potential and technology. So that's who I am. I've been doing that for most of my life. Actually, you know what? That's worrying. I have been doing this for most of my life.
But like, did you when you were in your 20s, or did you like start then, or like when did you find this mission, or when did you go there? Because if you were a CEO, if you were a CTO, or if you were all these C things, uh, when did you discover that you were in fact unlocking people's potential?
So, from I guess when you're going through it, living it, you don't realize. Okay.
No.
I am still in contact with one of the first teams I set up, right? Way back. I'm not going to tell you how many centuries ago, but it's at least 4 decades ago, right? Right. 4 decades ago, I was asked to innovate and build a team around supporting it, and we did a fantastic time, so much fun. And all the team, we still get together, whether it's virtually on the call. And like I said, Hedden, when you're going through it, you just do it, right? You just don't realize you're doing it. And then I realized that wasn't normal. When I talked to other people, they went, oh yeah, no, those people have moved on. And you go, no, those people still hang around. They keep knocking on my door. But it's a good way. It's a good way. And I think that's what I learned early on. The technology is part of it, but the people is the most important part for me, whether it's either way. After all, we are creatures of habits.
But when you started out, did you like were you in university and finished out as a business
Okay.
something and like what is your background? What have you been doing, and why was it that you got asked? Like, why did they ask you 4 decades ago to be a coach or do?
Okay. So my mum, when she was alive, bless her, she called me a failed medic.
A what? A what?
Medic, a doctor, failed doctor.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. So traditional Asian way of growing is go and do medicine, go and be a doctor, go and heal the sick, as it were, but make lots of money.
Uh-huh.
And I was doing that. I did the qualifications, I did all the work. And one of the things that stuck with me was I've got to see this mission through. It's my parents' mission. It's got to do it. And then this weird device walked into the computer room, into the classroom. It was a teletype, and you type things in it, and from the other side, the computer talked back to you, right? And you could get it to do what you want it to do, unlike you could do with people. So, and that changed my life, right? That really changed my life because what I found in that was a way to innovate. Right, medicine is following a tradition, following a way of doing things. But I just found that so amazing, where I can actually get it to do what I want to do, which is different. So when I told my mum and my father, I went, you know what, medicine not for me. Oh man, oh the earthquakes that shattered that caused that, right? But
Yeah.
since then, I think I proved to them it was the right decision, right? And they support me wholly now. And the people aspect of it, like I said, I found that if you're nice and kind to people, they normally reflect that back at you, right? Not 100%, but the end of point is, as a people person, and I'm a psychologist by reading, not by trade. I love
Uh-huh. Yeah,
understanding.
yes. Yeah.
Think.
So I just want to give a shout out to Canada, to Linda Simpson. She said good morning. And then we have almost my new best friend from India. It's Aishwarya. Hello again. Lovely to see you. So now you can we can have people to participate. And but were you, because you live in UK, like had your parents moved over or were you like, I don't even know, like are they British, like are you from India or like I haven't got a clue. I don't know anything about you. Well, you speak British, like you speak British. You know, I am. It's 9 minutes in the conversation, and I have already started. So what's in my drink? I don't know what's happening. So, shall I? Yes, tell me about your background. Where, like, were your parents? Did they move to UK because they wanted to get their kids better life, and then the oldest refused to follow their like and take their advice to be a doctor?
Um, so I'm second generation
Oh,
immigrant. I was born in,
okay, yeah,
right? My father came over first, and it was a real long story. I can cut down to the fact that he wasn't going to come, but my uncle applied for him to come twice, and the second time he decided, okay, fine, I'll go. My mum we came over when I was 2 years old. When I was 2 years old, my mum brought me over, and we've not looked back. Been back to India, love India. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic country, and I haven't seen probably more than 2% of it. Right, I talked to a variety of people, and love the people in India. Right,
Of
and I
course.
know it sounds a bit.
No.
Sorry.
No, it does not sound anything. It's just like brilliant.
Because what and not saying I don't like people where I sit and I love you, of course,
Oh,
right? Right, but you've got to, right? Because I'm talking to you. But I think from that perspective, so I'm second generation. I've got the fourth generation of kids now in England, my grandkids. That shows you how old I am, right? And what I've always said to my children is build on the shoulders of your elders. Don't try bringing it starting again. And they've done that. They've done amazing things. I'm not going to brag about it, but they have progressed to levels I would have dreamt about. Right.
but you are the second, because last week I talked to Maturima, and she started out as a medicine student, and she burned out and she couldn't do it. So, and she's from India. So I was just like, how amazing! Two people in a row who want, like, whose
There's more than two
parents.
people in India. Hang on a minute.
Yeah,
You're getting very
I
small.
know, but for me, the likelihood of talking to two persons who both started in medicine and both quit and defied the parents' wishes, and that must be something. But it is, and I'm happy because my twins. I have always told my twins, I am just the DNA provider. Like you, I will do my best to bring you up as a humble person, as a authentic person, and so on and so forth. But what you do in life, you will figure out, and you will become what makes you happy. I am not there to dictate what they are going to do. Like, I was shit in sports, like, but my wife she was great in sports. Like, okay, there's already a conflict there, but why is it that we should control our kids? But you can just teach them to be a great human being. So you have every right to brag about your kids.
Oh, thank you. And I will. And the rest of the podcast is now taken over by my kids. But that's the different
Yeah.
story. But you
Well, I'm
make
not
a
so sure about that. I'm
you
not
make
so
a
sure because I have like creating safe spaces for professional growth. And as you are not a professional father, then that would be a lovely profession, isn't it?
okay. Okay. Fair enough.
But
Fair enough. You bring it back
so,
to center. I agree.
yeah, but okay. So you and this must be a really long time ago because the tele thingy, like, sorry, but what was it that was it the technology or what? Like, how did it? Because it sounds to me like you just got a vision that, like, ooh, what's this? This is much more intriguing than cutting people up and do stuff with their organs. So, oh, here are wires and, like, oh, what happens this? And
Okay.
so do you remember that feeling?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like I said, when you're on the journey, you're on the journey and you're too close to it. I love mentoring. I love teaching. I always love the aspect of growing other people's lives. Right. And I think, Ashwarya just said, can't read the writing. Aisha, just if anyway,
Aishwarya, she
that's
says
it.
that
Thank you very much.
her parents, she's in India, and she says that her parents always helped and guided her to be her. So that's the gist of it.
Which is really amazing because normally with Asian parents and girls, right, it's a different story. But
Uh,
that's changing in the world, but also changing in India. One of the things I think it's a similarity what we're going to talk about, the difference between managing and leading, right? When I was little, my parents wanted me to do better than them. They were working class, they worked, in factories, they worked on the dockyard, and they said, no, you will get educated, you will do this. So it wasn't a blind direction, it was the need for improvement. And I guess that rubbed off on me, because when I was in work, that's what I did. If I could teach someone, they call it delegation, I call it being lazy, right? If I can teach someone to do something, it means that I don't have to do it. If I can teach them to support it, again, another bonus for me that I can do something else, right? But I enjoyed that aspect of it. And a few of my leaders, I've been very blessed with the leaders I've got, and I can call them all out. But from day one when I worked, I was blessed by people who would encourage me, would not block me, they would guide me, right? And I think parents do that anyway. I mean, parents may say, I want you to do this, but what they want to do is you find your own feet. And then I think about 2022, 3, I decided to leave proper work, as everyone calls it, full-time work, and go fractional or interim. Oh my God, that was the wrong time of year to do it, or wrong year to do it. It was like contracting was great, going and fixing things, doing things, and whatever. And then it just dried up. So then I thought, I'll do a course. So I started a master's in coaching. And that taught me things that I was doing by nature, by autopilot, was not unusual. And this gives me techniques on how to help other people. And I think if you're asking me what did the trigger, it was when I left full-time employment, saying I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to have my own time. And then realizing, do you know what? I've got skills I didn't even know. And I think that's what most leaders tend to do. They go on autopilot, right? And my job as a coach is to help them reach for other tools in their toolbox. To me, it's as simple as that. Do you have a set of skills? If you're an autopilot, you always reach for the same one, right? And maybe two, the screwdriver, the spanner, the hammer. But then you forget you've got a whole toolbox in there that makes you who you are. And that's what I like doing, is bringing that back out in people.
But isn't it, that is what we call a habit, or like it's a continuum. Like you get comfortable in your own skin, or doing, this is how we have always done things, and why should we change them? And sometimes when you meet people, like when I quit my job, of course it was horrifying. No, it was deliberating, but still, I have never, in 2020 when I did this, I was just like, why am I doing this? What's it like? Why am I in this day and age, 52 years old? Why am I doing this? But I just felt the need to pursue other stuff. And in my case, it was the happiness of working or doing stuff that makes me happy.
And happiness is a very important part of life.
Yes.
When we first came across each other, and you said you were a happiness officer, I heard
Chief
that
happiness officer.
Sorry, my apologies.
Yes,
Chief.
yes. And Iceland's chief happiness officer. Thank you very much.
CHO. It's C
Yeah.
level. Get it. Oh my Lord. Right. Anyway. So and I heard the title happiness officer about twice before in my life. And it was a thing. So I wasn't going, oh yeah, he's got a smile all the time. You do, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
You do smile all the time. But happiness, I think, is important in life, because if I talk to my son, who's a biomedical scientist, the endorphins come out, you become more confident in yourself, you're able to do more. And I think without happiness, you fail to achieve your full potential.
And also, if you don't release those hormones, then you start to, like, your shoulders get up, and everything just is more difficult in life. And you're not open for possibilities, or like there are so many aspects. If you shut down or like, this is who I am and I will never change, then what are you missing out? Can we say that? Like, could we say that? Because as you say, like, you are unlocking people. Because sometimes, okay, it's good to be safe, but sometimes it's good to go walk the line and Wobble, wobble.
But humans are against change, right? You
Yeah.
got to think, everyone has habits. Now,
Yeah.
at the beginning of every year, I don't do things do a new habit or try something new because I know I can't do it because I do habits. But what I do just to break it up, I change the sequence of my habits,
Yes.
because then I go, all right, I'm not an autopilot. I'm now thinking about what I'm doing. Then I can find space to do something new. And I find that, and when I talk to people about how do you start change, well, don't change by learning something new or doing something new. Start with a change in your life, because that will re-trigger your hormones, re-trigger your endorphins, going, right, I'm now going to think, not just do.
I read somewhere, or I was told, whatever, that if you change your routines, like
Yes.
we are creatures of habit, and for 12 years I drove always the same way to work, always the same way back. But then they said that if you change your routine as you get older, then you are challenging your brain, and then there is a less likelihood for Alzheimer's or Parkinson. Like that, you are constantly helping the cells in your brain to like take action and be challenged, so you can. Because some people, they like, I have done this for 70 years and I am continue doing it.
Yeah, and it's comfort zone. You said earlier,
Yeah.
it's a habit you get into and comfortable in it. It's what I call the comfort zone. People don't like leaving the comfort zone, and absolutely, change is inevitable, right? Um, but to become acceptance to it, you got to help people not necessarily add or change, but get them to think about doing a different order,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's the start of change. I've been involved in transformation projects that are normally driven from exec level down. We are going to put a new system in. Okay, fine. What's the benefit? Oh, we're going to make lots of money, save lots of this, make all this. Okay, what's the benefit for the people who use these systems? Oh, well, we don't worry about that because the company's going to make money. Okay, so my job is always to take that message, take it to the people, and understand, help them understand what the difference is and what they want from it. And version one may not give them everything they want, but we do go back and say, all right, we'll develop it more closer to what you want. But I think change, one of my famous facts on this is every 90 days, you're a different person. Every cell in your body in 90 days is replaced. You're never the same person after 90 days. So change absolutely happens every second of the day.
But that is the small changes, because you are not likely to, like, when you have settled in your house, or you have settled with a car, you have settled in your job. Okay, the young people, they don't stay as long as we would. Like, I was 12 years with my former employer. People staying 25 years, 30 years. That is becoming less and less today than it was. And that is changing. But and as Aishwarya says, like, we all find it difficult to adopting changes, but somewhat, isn't it healthy to do that? Because when you're saying the upper managers, "Now we are going to change this and we are going to introduce this kind of stuff." We got introduced to a new system with the salary thingy, like, and then it was supposed to be time efficient and whatnot. It absolutely did nothing for me. And if it was even worse, because there were so many things that I had to consider and stuff. So sometimes, doing, like, it is always a conflict between the old ways and the new ways. But maybe I was just like, ugh, because it was once a month, and I couldn't feel the benefits. I couldn't get the benefits. So it's okay. Ooh, now I will be bombarded with something. Please take it away.
No, no, no. Okay, if you want. No, I'm joking.
No, yeah,
That's fine. So change, you got to understand humans, right? Being a psychologist, read through, and Ashwarya, you're absolutely right. there are tips that everyone has, maybe they don't realize it, right? So I don't know about challenging times, but I think if you talk to people, you've got to understand what people think like. As a manager in the old days, in the days of, who was that guy, Mr. Ford, who had these, this is all you're doing, this is all you're doing, this is all you're doing. You had that line, I
You
can't
are,
remember that.
yeah, you are talking about the assembly line for the cars,
Thank
aren't
you.
you? Yes,
Right,
thank you.
exactly.
Yes.
So they had, this was your responsibility, that's your responsibility, you're responsible, you got it. So you're that old, you see. I don't recognize this stuff, right? But that was what management was like, is get
Yeah,
people in a box and keep them in the box. Get people in
yeah,
the box, keep them in the box. The leadership change was all about letting people understand why. Simon Sinek's made a fortune out of the why, but it's a very valuable question. So if you think about people, what do they want? And there's, I think it was Adam Walensky, that's who it was, who said people need three things: purpose. They need to understand why they're doing something, right? They need protection. They want space where they feel that they're safe to do things, right? And then the last thing they obviously need is belonging, the feeling of being part of a collective. We are very tribal animals. Everybody lends to a leader, whether it's
yeah.
a infuriating leader or an inspirational leader. People have this tendency, they need to be led. But as long as they get those three things, they're comfortable.
But as like the question of how did you like any tips that you did practice in challenging times? Have you encountered challenging times, and what did you do to get out of the like? I gather that this is about the people, the management. Like how, as you as a leader or a coach, like how do you coach people out of challenging time? Can you coach people out of challenging times?
I think as a coach, my job, coach, mentor, but coach fundamentally helps you think it through. So leadership is lonely. I don't care what people say. Oh, yeah, I've got a brilliant team around me. I've got this fantastic support. Leadership is a lonely trait, right?
Yeah.
Who do you go to think about something? I want to try something crazy. Who do I talk to? Do I talk to my team, who then think I'm now weak? Right? Do I go to my management and say, look, can we just try this? Let me sound this out with you. And they think, what the hell do we employ you for? You're supposed to have the answers, not come to me for the questions, right? Bit old thinking. But I think that's where coaching really helps, right? We're going to talk about safe space and non-judgmental spaces and so forth. And we'll explain the difference between them. But what I try to do is to listen to what the challenge is, remind people what humans are like. So if you're a leader, and remember what we need purpose, protection, and belonging, right? As a leader, you give purpose by explaining your vision. If you explain where people are running, they will follow you to the end of the work. For the protection side, you provide them an environment where they are enabled to do the work. And part of that is listening. Part of that is communication between the team. There's a lot of aspects of it. And the last bit of belonging, once you've done those two first steps, they feel they've got your back. And also you have their back. So does that sort of help?
Yeah, yeah. But my initial thought was if I would have a crazy idea, I would ask my wife or my significant other, because then it would be, do you think I will be fired or do you think I will succeed?
Which is fine. So let's take an example, right?
Yeah,
Everyone has a number of teams in their life, their
yeah,
family, right? Now, your family will say things, but in a supportive way. But will they be as, maybe your wife will, my wife is terrible at this. She always tells me straight away, don't be stupid, deal with it. Okay. But normally family want to support you. And sometimes having that difficult conversation is difficult.
yeah, yeah.
Right. I'm trying to think of a scenario, but if you want to go to your family and say, look, I'm going to quit the job, the first thing to think about is, where's the money going to go? Where's it going to come from? What's going to happen? So they will try to support you in your decision, but bear out those things that worry them.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to your friends, right, they will support you to the hell. They'll make things up as they go along. They will say what you want to hear in a probably more direct way than your family, right? But you will still get supportive conversation, right? If you go to your peers or your management or your teams, sometimes you're expected to have those answers. So who do you go to say, I want to try something brand new, different? Who to go to? And that's where coaching comes in. You go to them and say, look, I want to try this. How do you think this will work? And as an experienced coach or a mentor or the ability to help them, all right, what do you mean by that? Let's talk through the scenarios. What happens if this happens? What it also is like a sandbox. I call it, and I'm a developer, right? So it's a sandbox to turn around and say, right, let's work each strand out together, see what the impact will be. And I'll ask those questions you know the answer to. You don't want to ask the questions. Is this really the best way of doing it? To knocking down a door, or should we just use a key, being a locksmith, right? So the answer is, and I'm going to get locksmith in a few times, be warned, right? The answer is that's what I try to help people, to let them think their ideas through, not impose my ideas, which your friends and your family will try to do, right? They'll give you that, maybe not impose, but they'll give you that feeling that, okay, I'm going to think about that. This is about you. This is about my client. This is about them deciding things.
But how is it when you get these, when a senior member of the staff or senior leader gets a crazy idea and tries to implement it, and the leader comes, or the owner or the boss, and he says, oh my God, are you trying to ruin my company? Been there, done that, and all that. Like, because there are so much stuff also, because, you know, you can get, the hurdles are everywhere. And even though, well, we hired you to do this, but we did not hire you to do it this way.
No, agreed. But it's the art of communication. I think Aishwari Warrior, I'll get it right by the end of this session. I really will.
Swaria, yeah.
Aishwarya, what she says, it's about emotional intelligence, about relating to people and understanding what the challenges are. So when you propose something to your boss, you've got to have it prepared, right? You've got to have your vision. You've got to have, why are you doing this and what the benefit's going to be, right? If you just go in and say, well, you know, I want to make it yellow tomorrow. And they go, well, why yellow? Because I like yellow. That's fair enough, right? But if you go in there and say, look, we need to make it yellow. We need to make it this Pantone because it resonates with the audience better. Now, I'll give you a little fact around that. You know, on Google, when you click on a link, the links are a very bluey color to click on a link. Google did a massive study on that, spent a lot of money working out what tone of blue attracted people better to click. After that, they found the click level went up to, I think it's about 40% or something, 37%, right? So that right color makes a difference. So if someone would come to you as a boss and say, oh, by the way, I want to make it blue, and you go, what the hell are you talking about? But if you proved the 40% uplift in clicking, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it is always this thing that you when you are going for something new or whatever, because I remember in 2016 when our like next boss at the office of the council, she came and said, you are going to merge with another leisure center and you all will be fired or like let go, but you have to apply for the jobs again. And I sat there and I was just, why nobody fires me or nobody lets me go? I'm 48 years old. Who wants to hire me? But then we just applied, like they had to retract it, and we were only 8 instead of many. But it was the hardest thing I have ever encountered in my life to merge two institutions with different backgrounds, still the same, like we had after school care and we had the youth clubs and stuff, but we had two cultures that we had to merge. And I was so tired after 2 years of this. It was like horrible. But then again, you can also go down and which blue should we use, and then everybody has a voice, and instead, like sometimes democracy is just bad because I was just like, why are we discussing this? Why are we talking about a blue color? No, I never wear blue. I only wear black. Like, you get so many answers and you get so many things and people, like what worries people, and like you have to listen to all that stuff. And it's good that there are coaches.
Exactly. And when you listen, you got to look for the purpose, the protection, the belonging. You got to
Yeah,
listen for what they are asking and
yeah,
not just dictate what you are doing. You may end up with the same way convincing them this is the best idea for now. That's fine, right? But I think what people tend to do so there is a concept in coaching called active listening.
yeah.
You've heard of it. Everyone's
Well,
heard of it, right?
yes,
But an active listening, and I think one of the questions we got when we talked about it was open dialogue, right? What creates open dialogue? Is it active listening? You know what? When my training was going on, absolutely, I would have said yes. Active listening creates open dialogue. Well, now I've changed my mind. Right? Open dialogue is not about you talking, which is obvious, right? And it's not about you just listening, right? It's about you enabling a balance of conversation, right? If I was to take you down a journey, right, it's about allowing exchange or connection to be made within the team. Everyone's able to talk to each other and say, rightly or wrongly, their point of view, which may be contradictory or not contradictory. Absolutely. It's a two-way, well, multi-way conversation, but it's got to be
yeah.
two-way. And you've got to facilitate it. To have an open conversation, you've got to facilitate openness and not sound like the guy or the person or the woman that says, no, we're doing it this way, right? You've got to convince people. Going back to what we're talking about, it's empowering people, everyone to have an opinion. If someone's quiet in the room, and I've done this you've probably done it as well, it got worse during the pandemic with virtual. You used to get people with camera off, sit in the corner and didn't see them. My job was always, okay, everyone, cameras on. Okay. If we
Mm,
were in the room, you wouldn't hide behind the chair, would you? So come on, cameras on.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So it's about making that belonging, it's about making that purpose, and it's about calm waters. If you as a leader are calm, I use this one, say you can travel faster on calm water than on waves, right? You create the calm for bringing people to the table to be able to talk.
But when you talk, like the first, my thought was just like
Psychology?
psychological safety. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my tongue speaking. No, like because when you think about people and how different we all are, the difference between me and my wife, and then again, not so much because we all have been there. That we sit in a meeting and we think, well, I should say something, no? No, my ideas, they are like the inner dialogue is just horrendous. It's like, no, I will make a fool out of myself. I will be looked at as an idiot and yada, yada, blah, 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 blah. But when you ask the question, and if you don't ask the question, then because your opinion matters, you can also bring a dimension to the conversation and open up a whole nother direction. So, and like Linda says, the Jane Adsett Grant, who I spoke, oh, Linda, you forgot the hyphen. I was talking to Jane Adsett Grant 3 weeks ago, and to ask the right questions is to liberate another's thinking.
Mm,
And what you are
yeah.
saying as a coach, like you are quiet. Do you have any thoughts on this? And it's just to get people on board and show them we have to be safe. Your matter of like, isn't it?
Yeah, but and Linda, totally agree with you. Asking the right questions to continue a conversation, it's vital. If you, I mean, what you said there, right, is when you're talking to your family and you want them to discuss something, you want them to engage, the last thing you want to do is tell them what the answer is before they've thought about it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think as a coach, as a solutionist, if you're coaching people in the same discipline that you're good at, whether it's technology, whether it's healthcare, whether it's finance, it's harder to keep your mouth shut, because you can see you've been down this road and you go, well, actually, no, and you got to watch the journey, because you might have taken one path, but your client or whoever you're talking to may have another path they want to explore. So you should explore together. The big thing is with coaching is the respect and the trust you have to build. Okay? Because if you don't have respect, you're never going to get back again. Okay? Right. You're never going to find session done, see you later. Right. But more to the point, if you don't have the trust, right, how do they open up to you?
Level of belongingness do matter in communication. Yes, it's how secure are you in these group settings? But then again, if you have, let's say we have 10 people in a room,
Yeah.
and in my mind there are always 3 who talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. The rest is just silent, because well, they never get any word in, because the other 3, they always talk. And then somebody else is just like, why am I here? Why am I just not sitting by the computer doing my thing? There are, like, we have to, or on the phone, which I hope that when you're in a meeting that it's not allowed, but that
But
is
they do.
quite right. That is quite right. And but and the belonging aspect is really exciting, because do we feel belonging as we did in the 80s, in the 60s, in the 40s, or whatever? Like, as you mentioned, your heritage, when you go back to India, like, even though you have only explored 2% of it, you feel it's this sense of, oh, here, I belong here. This is my home. Do we have this sense of belonging today? Because loyalty, is that something that resonates in a company?
I think belongingness is what makes you feel comfortable and where you feel included. Let's be honest about it. Football supporters belong to their team, right? If you're in a family, you belong to your family team because they've grown you. The culture's been there. Same with your friends. Some friends are close friends, some slightly distant, but you don't separate the two. You just follow, you play, or whatever you do. Belonging, it's an interesting question. I've never thought of it that way. 20 years ago, what was belonging? Belonging was just being in a safe group, being protected. That was it. Your boss told you what you did it. If your boss said you were doing a good job, you took it on your chin. You thought, woohoo, that's great. But if they said you were doing a bad job, then you took it on the chin and made adjustments. Right? Now it's different. If you look at how belonging has changed, I can't remember the stat off the top of my head, but I think it's something like people whose leadership skills create empathy, right? Create an ability to communicate. They perform 37%, but no, 33% better. Okay. Simply for the fact they can innovate more. They feel like sharing. They may have their ideas. No, that's not rubbish. Let's do it in a different way. But that empathy, that belonging feeling, because they feel like they can contribute, improves performance of the team.
but there must also be, because there are some measurement about psychological safety, that we, if employees feel the psychological safety, then also productivity goes up, and you feel like you'll be heard. And it is this, because belonging must also be, am I heard? Or like, when you think about a country, when you get attacked, then you think like, hey, I'm an Icelander, I'm a Viking, or whatever, but make some stuff great again, and you are just like, do you want to colonize the world again? Or like where do you go with these thoughts? What are you going to make great again? And like, do I claim as an Icelander that there was an Icelandic Viking who found America, we want it back? Because that is how they can belong to us, or whatever.
Anyone
So
from
so
America, you can now say no.
yeah. I think they would probably be better off as
Well,
Icelandic. No,
what
I
I'd say
okay,
is,
but how is it when you're working? Like, come to, like, when you are creating safe space for personal growth.
okay,
Or
can we try and explain?
yeah,
Can we try
because
and explain?
we have talked. You have talked about purpose, protection, and belonging.
Yeah.
And when you are in this situation, what are the, because I have a friend who is called Kevin Monroe, and I have a friend that's called Dr. Oleg Konovalov. And when they say simple question, and there is nothing simple when they open their mouth, and because you have to, like, all your brain cells, they go on overtime, because they are just like, the factory really starts going. So hit me with something that you would ask in a team, like when you are doing your work.
Okay. Let's hit you with the different, slightly different before I get there, because I know, think I know what you're looking for. But the core building block of every team is trust. Yeah, agreed. Because
Yeah,
if you don't have
yeah,
trust, you can't have your protection. You can't have your belonging.
yeah.
Okay? If you don't have a trusted environment. But what is trust? Can I ask? I don't know how many people are on the call at the minute, but can you put one word in there? What trust looks like to you? What do you expect when you give your trust? And I'll ask you as well, Hidden. What is the one thing that you think about when you think you given trust to somebody? What are you looking for?
Well, I think that in terms of a conversation, if we are talking together, and that the person, my trust is that you will not go out and post it on Facebook, or go on the radio and talk to stuff that my toenail is, I have an ingrown toenail, or whatever. No, but what it is, to be reliable, or to be there for me, to be present.
Okay, cool. Linda and Raj have commented about the fact that honesty is very key for them, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
honesty also. Yeah,
But
but that is difficult. It is difficult to show honesty if you because we are always afraid of making the person that you love, or you are helping, you are so afraid to hurt their feelings, because they are like, oh, they have to be inside the cotton wool, and like whatever. And then, like, safety, yeah, like, it is safety, like, you have to trust it. But so honesty, it is, do I walk to you and say, oh, Rab, your hair is horrible, you have to, like, take it off, and then you turn around and you
like
start
you,
crying?
like you.
Well, yeah. Same thing.
But to be serious for a couple of seconds, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the 80s? The trust, I'm probably too old than anything, right? Do you remember that trust exercise that you did in team building? Your boss stands back up and they fall back and you are gonna catch them. Do you remember that exercise? That's supposed to signify trust, right?
Yeah, horrible exercise. And I was just like, oh no, I trust
Exactly. But yeah, I think trust, and where I look at trust, it's like trust pilot, right? There's levels of trust. Okay. When you rate something on Trustpilot, there's a 1, a 0, obviously, all the way up to 5. Okay. And that's, and yeah, Emerson's right. Yeah, the trust is the foundation of everything. Yeah, built in from culture there. But it's also levels of trust. You can get trust. I think, who's it? Raj and Linda said honesty, right?
you. Yeah,
I call that
yeah.
integrity. I call that integrity. And yeah, and understanding, I'll let you read. I can't read today.
Understanding and consideration for trust.
Yeah. So I put honesty in the label of integrity. What integrity means is that you will act honestly and ethically even when no one's watching. Right? I can be honest to you in front of you, but integrity is when I'm still that person, when I've left you alone and carried on. Right?
Yeah.
Next spoke. Sorry, do you want to ask a question? I was going to say
No,
spokes.
no. Now I'm into your brain. Like now I am forgetting that I'm on a host and I don't have a question. And I don't like what I see in your brain. No joke.
Yeah, try the other side. The left side's more creative. Anyway,
Yes.
but the reliability is the other part of trust, right? Is to be consistent and deliver on whatever you agree. If you are saying you will do something, won't do it, doesn't deliver, don't deliver on it, not doesn't deliver on it, but don't deliver on it, then your reliability factor is low. Okay. Competence is the other one, right? This becomes more important because as the trust levels creep up, can you deliver on what you're promising? Are you able to do it? That's the question, right? But that that word, it demonstrates the ability and respect. It delivers, it gives you the ability to build respect within the team or the family or the friends. But the big thing, I think, last two things before I let you ask questions again, is engagement, right? Empathy to recognize emotion and connect. I think still the more you can connect with people, and connect doesn't mean talking, doesn't mean listening, it's empowering that conversation, right? As coaches do, right?
Yeah.
That's important. And then final layer is when you get loyalty. When you built those 4 bricks in a row, and the top brick is loyalty, because that means you have their back and they have yours. And that is when the team or the group, whichever one look at it, is the most potent.
I don't know why I started to think about a team and the loyalty thing, that in a team and you are doing this stuff and then somebody, when maybe envy or like whatever comes to mind. No, oh, there is
Sorry,
a young one. Hi.
one, say hi.
And there's another.
Hi.
All right, guys, go and play. Sorry about that.
So, no worries. That is the extra salt,
Yeah,
the
well, you
extra
had 3
spice.
guests instead of 1, okay?
Well,
And
yes.
Duncan, shut the
Uh,
door.
but when it starts to be like the spitefulness and like, because every company has this. So what do you do when you think you have loyalty, or but when you talk about the integrity, and then you say something to a person, and then the moment the person turns around and they are making gestures of, whatever they are just like making gesture of, how, how do we how do we like work in that environment? How can we build loyalty and trust and everything? Like, because the humans, we tend to be, we are weird, and sometimes we go after things that we maybe shouldn't go after. maybe we are not qualified, or because there is definitely no school for leaders out there. Is there?
So I'm just comment on Ashwari's. God, I'm so disrespectful today.
No, it was lovely to see them. So
Yeah, that's cool. They've broken up from school. They're coming to say hi because they're just.
Of
Yeah. Anyway,
course, it means that you're a great grandfather,
yeah.
or
No,
was
no,
it?
just grandfather. Just grandfather.
Oh, you're not great grand. No, sorry. But my question
You're
about
right.
the
There are
loyalty.
times when people are bitter and they really make you feel old. But you're right. I
But
mean, things we got
yeah,
to remember. Sorry.
no, yeah. Just go on.
Things you got to remember, right, is you can't change people. You can win them over, right? So I always say, Emerson and I've done, Emerson's got a suite of courses that are brilliant for self-realization. They talks about, and I'm not selling for him, just reach out to me or reach out to him. You'll be able to talk about, they talk about what your leadership style is. They talk about your emotional intelligence. They talk about navigating conflict and communication. They're really good, but we co-authored those. And what you got to realize, if you project loyalty, if you project engagement, very few people will find the resolution to attack you. If they do, there's something hidden, there's something behind that. And that means you either have to get to the bottom of it or just accept it that you can't change people. If you turn toxic, not only will you affect that one individual, you'll affect the whole team, right? Going to what I said about loyalty, if someone's always stabbing you in the back or behind your scenes, the team will look after you. That's where you want to be. You don't want to change people. You want to get their support.
Yeah. But I love this, Emerson. Thank you for this. Authenticity is also a thing, but there is, and then because we are talking about trust, because me and my wife, we sometimes are we gullible because we always our first like we always when we meet people, it's just like, oh, you're great, until something else comes out of the woodwork or whatever with you. But it is sometimes you feel like you are, oh, you are nice, but then you have this tendency, yes, you have this tendency to weave persons into some web of doodle, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're just like, okay, what the hell happened here? Why? Like, I thought you were nice. Yeah,
Okay.
take it away. Take it away.
No, look, I am exactly like you. Everyone I speak to, you have my trust. Okay. Like
Yeah.
you believe in the best of people. Being a happy person, you're going to believe the best of people, right?
Yeah.
It's up to them to fail you. There is the other thought is you got to build trust, you got to do it, and you can break it, and it takes that. My motto, exactly the same as yours is, and I think we are of the same kinship, is I will give you my trust. It's up to you to lose it. Remember those 5 layers? You don't give them all 5. You build up to loyalty, right? So I think I absolutely agree with what you're saying. This brings more happy people around you. This brings more opportunity for you to grow if you start with trust.
That brings me back to this comment that of course our intuition. It's funny that when we back in the days when me and my wife we met new people, afterwards my wife always asked me, so what does your gut say? So I like there was a lot on my shoulders, but I took because I just said, well, yeah, this person is great.
Can I just wait one thing to Linda's comment, and because we're 1 minute short, we're 1 minute from share.
Oh my.
Intuition is born out of experience. You don't just wake up going, oh, I know, I'm going to fall over. You're going to say, oh, I fell over a few times. I'm not going to do that again. Your intuition is, maybe you fell over a chair, but you're not going to fall over the stool next time, right? Intuition is programmed, right? There is a belief that it's magical and just believe it, but it's your subconscious picking up on signals going, that guy doesn't sound right.
Why
Like
are
you're
you
probably
ruining? Why are you ruining this thing? Like I thought, my gut, my intuition, my gut was from the trolls and from the elves. Thank you. Now you have. I thought they were magical because
no, no, but okay.
I have never won lotto. That is a horrible, but that's.
But what I'm saying is, it could be from the elves, but you've got that secret and you've got that programming. I'm an AI guy, right? It's about how does AI work? Well, it learns from other people. And that's what intuition, you learn this in your genetics, you learn it in your subconscious, and it becomes a feeling.
This is brilliant. And it's horrible. Like we have been talking for an hour. How does time flies when you're having fun. But it's funny when you mentioned AI because I was talking to my wife. We were talking about AI and how to incorporate it and use it and how much or how not much or whatever. And I sometimes think, oh, you're so brilliant. Thank you very much for this. I talk to AI like it's a real human being. And sometimes I'm just, okay, you got to stop this.
No, you don't. I'm a
No.
programmer, right? No, you
Yeah.
don't. I'm a programmer. Right? There are hacks in programs where if you say thank you, where you say please, the developer will say this guy is acting like this. The AI will be nice back to you. Okay. Do you remember the day? I mean, probably don't remember the day because you're young. There were things called Easter eggs in programs like Excel. You went to a certain cell, typed this in, and there was a game. Programmers have this way of hiding things.
Ah.
So do remember, it's not a person, but treat it with respect. It'll respect you.
Yes. And of course, it is just like fun because then you have this power to interact with AI and you just, it's your business partner in a sense when you're alone. So Linda says intuition is born out of experience. Oh, she's commenting on something that you said. She loves
Oh,
that.
don't sound
So thank you.
disappointed.
Yeah. So you said something that is, you are like, you're a wise man. And Aishwarya, she said, we are gifted with inner power. And,
Totally
and,
agree.
yes, maybe because we don't know, because sometimes we just sense there is something off, or you sense the danger, or sometimes, and you can't explain it because you just sense a car is coming and there is something happening. But as you said, we are on the top of the hour, and I just, it has, for me, it has been brilliant, and I hope the people who are watching, they have had fun because I'm not in focus, you are in focus, and I think that we have had way much fun than we should have, and
Um,
I don't think I have ever pushed a.
guest.
Oh, he froze.
Oh,
Why
I didn't
did you
freeze. You froze.
freeze? Don't freeze. Did I
I'm
froze? Freeze. Yes. But Rab, it has been a fun session, and I hope that those who were with us, they have enjoyed it, and maybe there will be a Rab Bassi 2.0 in the future. I think that Emerson could be a session-worthy guy. Oh, ooh, no, but you're not selling him. So thank you very much. Next inspiring conversation is in a week's time, where I will be talking to Liam. Yes, Liam Nathan.
Aiden.
Nathan, thank you. And that will be on Thursday, the 30th of January, and where we are talking about personal transformation stories from struggle to success, and his story is remarkable, and he is living as a nomad. So he just drives there where the sun shines. So literally, so that's fun. And thank you, Linda. And I now I'm like you, Aishwarya. Thank you for watching, and Emerson, thank you. Of course, he would be happy to be on my podcast. He can see how hot I am.
Be careful, he
And
won't leave. Be careful, he
I,
won't leave.
yes,
Respect to everyone. Ben, thank you for
yeah.
making it. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys, and remember to be back next Thursday. You can look at some of Rab's work on artisan.co.uk. That is artisan.co.uk. And then you can follow hands-on coaching on social media. And like there are loads of interviews that we have. And well, Aishwarya, you don't have to call me sir, and I definitely think that you don't have to call Rab sir. We are all friends. We are all equal. So don't but
It's
it's
not what
lovely
he
to
said
have you.
before this. He said, "Call me Sir Hedden."
Yeah, well, that's you. Like it depends
Okay,
on who it is.
sorry.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And Rab, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very much. And thank you all people who are watching this. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.